Okay, this is definitely the final part of how to be happy on your own. And as I said yesterday, I don't really have a 100, like a magic pill for it. The only other thing that I would suggest, which is it's a follow on from one of the remarks in yesterday's episode, and that is that if you are on your own and you definitely know that you want a romantic partner at some point in the future, it's a great time to take stock of yourself and to do self-improvement, basically. To use a phrase which has taken on very, very trite meanings, but really none of us is perfect, obviously, and we never ever will be. But there are things that we can work upon on about ourselves, and that will make us more attractive and also more selective. So we will pick a better person to be with in the future. And number one is we should be picky. All of us, males and females, we should be picky. We should ask ourselves, have I improved myself to the point where I know I'm a good catch? Okay, so that's part one of this. And part two is, does this person deserve me? That's not arrogant at all. Each of us should work upon ourselves to the point where we know that we are jewels, or I don't know, pick your own metaphor that resonates with you. I tend to think of myself as a Lamborghini, okay, because I don't like cars very much. I don't know much about cars at all, but I do know I like Lamborghinis. They look great. I'm not sure I'd ever want to own one particularly, but you know, if the car world has a pin-up, it would be a Lamborghini. So that's how I look upon myself. Rightly or wrongly, it doesn't actually matter what anybody else thinks. It's my opinion here, and it is your opinion of you. But you should have done something to feel that your opinion of yourself is justified. And there are various things we can all work on. We can work on how pleasant we are. We can work on how compassionate we are, whether we listen to people actively. Do we listen to what they're saying? Pick up on things so that we can have a conversation with them, to ask a question about as a follow-on. Do we offer to help when help is needed? And are we wise enough to know when help should be withheld? But we can offer to assist the person in their efforts. There's active helping and the supportive helping, where you do everything for them. You go around wiping someone's nose, essentially, is the phrase that springs to mind. But there's others where they're the main actor and you go along for moral support, and if they need assistance carrying stuff or whatever, then you help them. Are you that kind of person, or do you just think, I'm not helping people? Well, that makes you unattractive. It makes you a bad choice as a partner. The whole point about partners is in a romantic situation, you're supposed to help each other. You're supposed to be having each other's backs, not just sort of shouting and saying the right thing. But when somebody needs practical assistance, you are there with it for them. The whole "I'll be there for you" thing is real. It's not just being there and listening, but actually helping to fight their corner when they need it. You can improve your knowledge of the world. You can improve your self-knowledge. You can find out what it is that makes you, or what your pain points are, what your the things that really rile you. And are you a nice person from the point of view of being considerate to not just the people that you know, but the wider world? Or do you think, no, I've got to have this, and that's unattractive? If you don't care about the consequences for wider society, that is not an attractive trait. And you might find somebody who's a soulmate in that regard, but that's going to make you two unattractive people, and you're going to lose friends. It's how the world works. Humans value cooperation, and they don't value people who are selfish, and they avoid them, generally speaking. You know, are you a pushover? Do you know how to say no? Not just when to say yes, but do you know when to say no and how to say it? Do you know how to say it firmly, but in a way which is not offensive, in a way that say, I'm sorry, that wouldn't work for me. And not just making excuses, I'm busy then, or anything, just, sorry, that will not work for me. And I don't explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. If somebody wants you to do something and you don't want to do it, you just say, sorry, no, that's not going to work for me. And simply repeating it, if they ask you why, you don't have to give reasons. Just say, it won't work for me. But why won't it work for you? Because it won't work for me. That's all. And you don't even have to say, I don't have to explain myself to you, because that's getting aggressive. You don't need to be an aggressive person. Are you negative about everything? It's better to be Pollyanna and overly positive than it is to be overly negative, or even mildly negative. It can be annoying when somebody refuses to see the negative side of a negative situation. I agree. However, a lot of things, the negative side of things, is fairly trivial and can be dealt with or tolerated. We don't have to complain about it. And that's the next part, negativity. Complain, 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 complain. Are you a drag to be around? All these things are things that maybe, need addressing before you go forward and find someone else. And then you'll find a different someone else to the someone you would have found, while I'm assuming, right, if these apply to you, then you'll be an improved person. It'll become part of your way of thinking, and you'll attract somebody who's more like that. And you'll find that going forward, you won't have to think about how to be alone, because people will be very positive about being with you, and you'll like yourself more as well. You'll like your own company more. So being alone, being by yourself occasionally, and I'm talking about solitude and not loneliness. I'm talking about solitude. It won't be such a bad thing, because you'll think, I'm not too bad. I'm okay. I can tolerate my own company. All right, that is the end of this. Let's get in there before the 8 minutes. We got 15 seconds, so like, subscribe if you found this useful. Give it a thumbs down if you think it's a load of old rubbish, and good night.